Hey, good afternoon. Hope you're having a great day. So in this week's Torah portion, we read about the best fundraiser in the history of the world. And in fact, the only fundraiser that was fully successful. What do I mean? God told the Jewish people to give and to donate gold, silver, copper, all these kinds of wools and materials to build a tabernacle, to build a home for an edifice where God could dwell amongst the Jewish people. And the story says that Moses had them coming, and at a certain point, Moshe told them, hey guys, enough. We have too much. Stop bringing. And ever since, there's never been a fundraiser in the world where they said they had enough money, don't give me anymore. They always need more, and they're always making bonus goals. We know how fundraisers are. I speak for myself too. Why was this the way? If you notice, in the portion of Truma, when God begins telling the Jewish people to give for the tabernacle, he says, Kol asher nadva libo, whoever's heart desires. And the emphasis the entire time, if you look through the portions, every time he speaks about donating towards the temple, he speaks whoever's heart's desire. It wasn't obligatory. It was from the heart. The Jewish people were excited to give, and therefore they gave so much. Where Moses had to tell them, it's enough. We don't need any more. But it's interesting, because we read about the Nesiim, the leaders, and the word Nesiim is missing a Yud. It's missing the letter Yud, the way it would normally be spelled. And the rabbis tell us that what happened is like this. There's a reason why it's missing. Because when Moses told the Jewish people to donate towards the temple, the leaders, who were very wealthy and affluent themselves, came over to Moshe and they said, hey Moses, listen, you get whatever you can get from the Jewish people, and whatever they don't give, we'll fill in the gaps. We'll balance the budget at the end and make sure that you have everything you need to build a tabernacle. Well, guess what? As I just told you, the Jewish people gave more than enough. So when the Nesiim came, when the leaders came to give, they didn't need them anymore. So what did they do? They gave the stones for the breastplate of Aaron, with which he would go into the Holy of Holies, and through where God would speak to him. And the rabbis say that's why the Yud is missing, because of the mistake the leaders gave. The leaders had by saying, you get it and we'll fill in the gaps and we'll balance the budget. But the question really is, what was wrong with what they said? Wasn't that a lovely thing that they said? That imagine if you make a fundraiser, we're raising funds soon for a new building, and someone came over to them and said, go to the community and whatever you can get, we'll follow up and we'll balance the budget. It would be great. So what was the problem here? And the answer I want to give is twofold, and I think an important one. Firstly, the problem wasn't that they said they would balance the budget. The problem wasn't that the leaders said we will fill in all the gaps that's left. The problem was that they didn't have faith in the Jewish people, and that they felt that the Jewish people wouldn't give enough, and therefore they said, we'll fill in. They should have had faith and believed in the people, that the people would give so generously that there would be enough. And if they would have had that faith, they would have acted differently. So that's the first reason, and it's a powerful thing. As leaders, we have to believe in our people. We have to believe as parents. Do you believe in your child's ability to succeed? Do you tell them that you know that there's nothing beyond their possibility to succeed if they put them to it? We, as parents, as educators, as rabbis, as communal leaders, we have to believe in our flock. We have to believe in the people that we lead, that we raise. And that was their mistake. But then there's something else. You see, when you're a leader, it's not enough to say, I'll fill in the gaps. But ultimately, you have to have the courage to lead from the front. We all know that when it comes to a fundraiser, everyone watches what the leaders do. And if the leaders don't give, if the leaders are not generous, then it doesn't motivate other people. So the problem that the leaders had was that they should have said, we'll give now and we'll also fill in the gaps. But they should have showed and led by example for the Jewish people. You know, this is an old anecdote about this rabbi who's trying to build a new shul. The shul is decrepit, and he makes this fundraiser. And at the fundraiser, he sits and he speaks and he explains at length why we need a new shul. And the richest guy in the shul gets up and says, I'll give $1,000. And the rabbi goes, oh my gosh, if this guy is giving $1,000, then we're over. We're never going to be able to raise the money we need. He's the wealthiest man. He should have given $1 million. What are we going to do? How are we going to ever get to where we need to get? And suddenly, as the guy said he'll give $1,000, a tile falls down from the ceiling, from the old ceiling of the temple, hits him in the head. He goes, ow! He gets hurt. And he looks up at the rabbi and says, Rabbi, I changed my pledge to $100,000. And the rabbi looks up at God and says, God, could you send another few tiles? The point is that when you're a leader, you lead from the front. You lead by example. So the problem with the leaders was not that they wanted to fill in the gaps. That was great. But they should have led by example. And the same is true with each and every one of us. You know, we all are leaders. If it's in our family, if it's in our community, if it's in our business, if it's in our shul. And the question is, do we lead by example? And do we have faith in the people that we lead? And those are the key things that the leaders were missing. And therefore, the Yud is missing from their letter. God bless you. Have an awesome day.